Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Magic Hat Brewery, where we use ancient alchemy and modern day science to create the best tasting beer on the planet, bringing you a performance in every bottle. Today, we will be discussing the brewing process from grain to glass, right here at the Artifactory in South Burlington, Vermont. Our story starts out in the tower and grain silo, located in the north end of the building. The grain silo holds malted barley, the first building block in the brewing process. Malt is usually identified by type, and we begin with two-row pale. This accounts for 80% of our malt mix, as it is light in color and mild in flavor. Hi, Malty! Malty is off to the mixing room, where he will be combined with a variety of other malts, yielding different flavors depending on the batch at hand. Once mixed, he and his malt friends will head through the grist mill, which will grind and crack open the malt, exposing its interior known as endosperm. The cracked malt will then travel down a funnel and head through a tube known as the auger, now that it's ready to be mashed. Next, our spotlight shines on cold, triple-filtered Vermont water. Our water is gradually brought up to 150 degrees, where, by now, it is ready to unite with the cracked malt and begin its slow and important evolution of starch to sugar in the mash tun. After 1.5 hours, the mash then moves over to the lauter tun. Lauter means to separate in German, and this is exactly what the rotating zigzag arms are doing. The lauter tun has a false bottom and works like a coffee filter, through which the clear wort is collected and only spent grain is left behind. The whole process takes around 3 hours to complete. The spent grain is donated to local farmers who use it to feed their cattle. Hey ladies! We also have an ingenious new machine known as the digester, which makes actual energy from our wastewater, and soon it'll be doing the same with our spent grain. This will be discussed in a future film. The newly separated wort is flowed to the brew kettle, where it will be gradually heated again to a rollicking boil. The boil usually lasts around an hour, during which it is time to add the hops. Hey, Hoppy! Hops have long been used in the brewing process to promote stability, clarity, flavor, and aroma. A dear relative of cannabis, the beautiful cone flowers are harvested and added during the brewing process at different times to achieve different hop results. It is entirely up to the brewer to decide if he should wet hop, dry hop, or both, and for how long. It is believed that copious amounts of hops were used by the British to help preserve beer on its journey overseas to the colonies in India, supposedly giving birth to the popular beer style India Pale Ale. The boiled wort is then sent through a heat exchanger to slowly drop its temperature so that we have cooled wort on the way out. Meanwhile, the residual heat from this process is routed back to the beginning to be reused during the next batch. Cool wort is almost beer. Then it is off to the tanks of the fermentation room, where it is time to let our 160-year-old Ringwood yeast strain do some of the work. Hey, Ringwood! The yeast's job is to go ahead and eat as much sugar as he can hold and process, and when he is ready, he and his millions of friends burp and belch aloud, releasing gas and creating flavor and alcohol. Often, this is carried out in an open tank, like this one, to allow the yeast to be free. Then, what is now officially called beer is spun in a centrifuge to extract any large wheat or yeast particles. Then, through a diatomaceous earth filter for superfine filtering, and then on through the carbonator to dial in the desired level of fizz. Then, the beer is chilled for 3 days in a conditioning tank to settle and rest. At this stage of the game, the beer is now called bright, which means it's officially ready to roll. It's now production's job to snap into action, fire up the bottling lines, and go full speed ahead to get that beer in containers and out the door. Go, man, go! Our bottling line can bottle up to 400 bottles a minute. Wow! Though our number one goal is to deliver to you beer that is as cold and fresh as physically, humanly, and mechanically possible. So cheers to you, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you head to the sampling bar to try the latest and greatest that our brewers have dreamed up. And remember to come back and see us real soon. Bye-bye now.